Hey, what is going on, everybody? In today's video, we're going to be diagnosing a check engine light for a Mercedes-Benz S500 W220, the S-Class, and it's going to be a crankshaft position sensor, CPS, and the code is P0335. So if you have that code, then that means that you need to change your crankshaft position sensor, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's get started. All right, the first thing we're going to do is just remove the paneling and everything like that, the air ducts. Now, the reason that I've switched to a oil plug instead of the oil dipstick is because of this air duct right here. You see how I kind of lost control because it was a little jammed, and that's the reason you see a lot of broken oil dipsticks on the Mercedes. And I have a whole video about that. I'll link it in the card up above. And so moving on to this air box right here, I'm removing it from the side, but I think it's better to remove it just being square to the car, facing the car directly. But for the sake of the camera, I'm removing it from the side. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to locate our CPS. It's going to be in the back on the driver's side if you have a US model car. And you want your hand facing you, like palm facing you. The way that I'm showing you my hand, that's the best way to remove the clip. So you're going to just kind of dive in with your palm facing you, thumb up, and you can see the clip right there. It's connected to that gray line, the gray wire cover. And once you just pinch it, then it comes out very easily. So once you have that clip, just go ahead and sit it off to the side. And then from there, we can, move forward and get that CPS. Now, if you have one of these folding lights, I highly recommend these lights. If you have one, great. If you don't, please get one because it just helps so much. Now, we're going to take a 1/4-inch ratchet with a long extension and an E8 Torx bit. And we're just going to fish for that bolt. So that's the bolt right there. That's what you want to get to, and it's in a tight spot, plus you have that heat shield, but we won't need to bend it or anything like that. We're just gonna fish for it. If you want to use some tape on your E8 Torx bit, just so you can kind of catch that bolt a little better so it doesn't fall, you can put some tape over the socket. But for me, I got lucky and I was able to fish it out with a magnet. It didn't fall. It was just sitting on the CPS, which was very nice. So you can see here, I just take a magnet and, just retrieve the bolt. So depending on your situation or whatever you feel comfortable with, you can either use a magnet or you can put some tape on your socket, and you'll see later in this video how I apply the tape. So make sure you watch till the end. All right, so once we have that taken care of, we can just reach in and grab our CPS. And so that's what the used one looks like. And unfortunately with these things, it's one of those things where they just go out and they look perfectly fine, except for the fact that they go out and they'll leave you stranded. So I highly recommend replacing them. I'd say about every 80,000 to 150,000 miles. Now here's the old one, and I sometimes I buy vitamins online and I read the reviews and people say, oh, the ingredients changed and all that stuff. So just doing a little comparison for everybody. Look at that, the businessman is crossed out because businessmen are not supposed to work on their cars, but we're all businessmen and we're all professionals at working on our cars. So let's just ignore that. But this is the new one, and I just want to compare it to the old one. And, just so that I can show everybody out there, if there's any kind of changes in the CPS. But you can see it's, the only difference I'd say is the font on the new one's a lot smaller. And so that might be a little strange. Who knows if it's a fake or not? I mean, I doubt it. But they're still both made in Germany. So that's good. And, as long as you get your part from a reputable source, you'll be fine. But that's pretty much what they look like. And I would say you see those little lines on the body of the CPS. Sometimes they might be a little thick and it might be a little tight to get the CPS into the engine. but you can just scrape it down with a razor blade ever so slightly, and it'll slide in a lot easier. All right, so this next section here, I'm gonna just vacuum out around the CPS, on the engine, the hole that it goes into, because dirt can build up there. But if you're not comfortable with that, then you don't have to do that part. But it's just a suggestion. Okay, so now we're gonna take our new CPS and we're gonna hold it like a syringe, and we're gonna just inject it in there. So engage the docking mechanism.
Cars, get ready to engage the docking mechanism. "20 feet out.
I need 3 degrees starboard, Cooper. Cooper, ER. Lined up.
Come on, George. Come on, George.
All right, so we successfully escaped our engine's gravitational pull, and we are back in orbit. So right here, you can see the tape that I was talking about, and that's the bolt. So I like to use tape over paper. Some people use paper, but the thing is, if the paper falls out after you install the screw, then it could land on the catalytic converter and catch on fire and all that kind of bad stuff. So tape is a lot better. So I like to use tape. So you see this little opening right here, that part right there, you want to make sure it's lined up. Otherwise, you'll be just chasing, hunting, looking. You'll never get it threaded. So make sure it's lined up. And what I like to do is start the thread first and then attach the ratchet. And then once it's locked in, then go ahead and hand tighten it. And you don't want to over torque it, so just kind of ease up on that tightness, the torque. All right, so once again, you can see here I still have the tape and everything is good. Okay, so one word about the connector. You'll hear people say use silicone for the connector, but these connectors are already weatherproofed and weather sealed. And you can see this little yellow ribbed part right there. That's your weatherproofing. And so Mercedes, all auto manufacturers do a good job weather sealing their connectors. So don't use silicone. And if you especially don't want to put silicone on the contacts like that, where it's going to be the metal to metal contacts, you definitely don't want to put silicone there. I'll make a video on how to properly apply silicone and where to apply it. So now that we have our connector, we can go ahead and install it back onto this new CPS right there. You can see right there, you just kind of want to just get it lined up and then just kind of slide it on there. And sometimes it might be a little difficult, but, just kind of work with it and, just have a little patience. And you're going to listen for a click. And once you hear that click or feel that click, then you know it's engaged. And then you're just going to double check just to make sure that that clip isn't going to come back off. So you can see there, I'm just double checking. And then you can kind of push it back in from the clip side and on the sides just to make sure that the clip is engaged. All right, so that's pretty much it, everybody. Thank you again so much for watching. Thank you for just being a part of this channel. It's just amazing to have everyone's support for this channel. So we have our new CPS in there. It's working great, and we have everything put back together, wiped down, and the engine is running good again. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.